Six guys, three sports, no leash. This is the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. Football, hockey, and baseball the way it's meant to be. Loud, raw, and completely unfiltered.
He's back in the house. Clarke, how are you, brother?
I'm good, boys. How are you guys tonight?
Good.
Good to see everyone.
Episode 23, Warriors edition. Clarke couldn't make it last night, so we've got a special edition for you tonight. My goodness, we had a good show talking about the East, about the Lincolns, a couple of upset picks. So nice. Let's get into it with the Warriors and the Nationals. The Stratford Warriors hung on to fourth place, get home ice advantage in the first round against the number 5 seed London Nationals. Clarke, what are some of the key players and matchups that you guys are looking at with the Nationals?
Well, I think, London's a high-flying run-and-gun team, right? They love the stretch pass, and they bring a ton of speed at you, and they have a lot of skill. Speaking of specific guys, Pomerleau, for sure, their big guy there. I think he's got 30 goals and 70 points. Campo, Muse, Wood, Dockstader, all guys that I think are very dangerous and can score on a regular basis. So we have to kind of control them, and I think we really have to slow them down. And the challenge will be at their rank. They play on that big ice. It's a much different game than we're going to get here in Stratford. Stratford's more of a quick strike spot. But if they get up and moving here in Stratford and get a step on you, they're gone as well, right? So I think, we got to really do a really good job of just slowing them down and playing our game. And, I think that the series sets up with a team that's high-flying run-and-gun offense against us, who are more structured, defensively sound team. I think that's what we do. We play a lot of one-goal games. We've done it all season long. So as long as we can keep the games close and keep them low scoring, then I think, we're in a really good spot. Two other guys, I think, for London that no doubt will have a chip on their shoulder, Jack McGurn and Matthew Blake.
Right.
Two great young men that we had here in Stratford, and there's a trade mid-season. They're now playing and skating for London, so they're going to want to come in here and win for sure. And, for us, Cruz Ferguson, who we picked up from London, he's going to want to put some pucks in the back of the net for us against his former team as well. And then, I think we're looking at guys like Slattery and Kipfer and Schmitty and Max Wildfong and Cohen Galbraith and all those guys to continue to score for us. But, what I really like about our team, if you look at the stats, we didn't score a ton of goals this year, but we also didn't give up many. But if you look, we had 9 of our 13 forwards all scored 10 or more goals, right? So I think we do have depth scoring. Scoring's up and down our lineup. So that's what's encouraging to me. In a tight game, any one of our lines can strike and score. And I think we're really good defensively. We had a good defensive core. And, and I think our goaltending is good too. We just need our 2 goaltenders to give us a chance to win every night. And if they play that way, I think we're in a good spot. I think London has good goaltending as well too. And like I said, I really think, the majority games will be close. There's a chance in this series that I think there could be a blowout in a game or two, just with the offense that is on both teams. And if, things go the way they go some nights when, things are just going so well for one team and not the other, that could happen. They could get away from each other. But I would say there'll be tight games. London always has a bit of nastiness to them as well. And it's playoff hockey now, right? So every inch matters here. And, it's going to be really important for our guys to use that home ice to our advantage too. We're going to get, the availability to have 4 games at home here in the Almond. And, I really look forward to the series. Only 1 point separated us throughout the regular season here. So we're very, very close. They've scored more goals than we have. But I think we defend really, really well against everybody in the league. We took the top team, Chatham, to overtime 3 times this year. So, I think we can play with everybody. It's just, can we do it consistently for 2 weeks at a time, going pretty much every second night. So I'm really looking forward to it, and we'll see what happens once they drop the puck Friday night.
Well, people can take it with a grain of salt, but London won the season series 3 games to 1 over you guys. Ever since Bender got pulled that last game against the St. Mary's Lincolns, it looks like he's just found his rhythm again. And watching it on Flow and on social media, he just looked unbeatable. And then he got a bad break there after stop 9 shots in the shootout, and Chatham ended up finally getting one on him. But tell us about Bender and his mindset right now.
Yeah, he's been really good, and I think although he's had a couple long seasons in the OHL, I think this season is long too, right? Much like us living the dog days of winter, if I can call them that. We've been locked with London since before Christmas, guys. And we get a sniff maybe moving up in the standings and not really dropping too much. And every other night London jumped ahead of us, or we jumped ahead of them, or it'd be that way for a week or two. So, I really think the group was kind of, let's get to March 13th here, and let's get this going in the playoffs. But back to the Bender point, he's been great for us, and really looking forward to him just to being super solid for us in the back there, and letting our guys do what they need to do in front of them.
Hawlzer, what about doing a deep dive, penalty killing and power plays with the two teams?
Well, I think Clarke really touched on some fantastic points there, and a couple of them I want to continue on is, special teams always in the playoffs is absolutely critical. And the thing is that both Stratford and London in the Western Conference, they have the 2 worst power plays in the Western Conference of the teams that are in the playoffs. And that's a surprise to me, to be honest with you, with London. I know that Stratford's power play has been hit and miss for a good chunk of the year. They were frustrated when it went cold a little bit last month. So obviously that's going to be a real key in this when you got both teams that are not great on the power play. I will say this though, with the bigger ice at home, London is actually 4th. So their power play on the road is the worst in the Western Conference. So that's going to be huge, obviously, for Stratford. They have the same goal differential, which is not identical, but 40 versus 37. To Clarke's point, London scored a lot more goals, but Stratford gave up a lot less goals, and yet they end up with the same goal differential at the end of the year as well. So I thought that was pretty interesting. The one that's really sticking with me, though, is the fact that Stratford this year, everybody's aware of the power rankings, and there's been a lot of heated discussion, arguing one way or the other, whether they're this team should be here or whatever. But at the end of the day, the one really telling stat that they come up with on the website is their games against ranked opponents. And unfortunately, Stratford's record against ranked opponents this season is 8-15. And that is, to me, that's a number that really stands out. Off the numbers, I'm concerned about Stratford's consistency. I think that they are one of, if not the quickest team in the conference. I think that is their number one strength. The problem with this matchup with London is that London can offset a lot of that speed. They cause, for example, the Lincolns all kinds of trouble in the back end with their speed when they're negating icings and what have you. That'll be more difficult on the bigger ice and with London because they're a quicker team. So this is not the ideal matchup for Stratford. I'm concerned about that. And the numbers kind of bear that out, frankly.
Schencker, what do you think of these two teams that you've seen this year?
First off, I just want to say congrats, Clarke, on a great career. And first, what's the injury update on Schmidt and Slattery?
They'll be ready to go Friday night.
Perfect. My key player for London is that Cody Wood. As a rookie, he put up 11 goals, 29 assists. He had 20 power play points. So if Stratford can
17 assists.
Yeah. And he's another London Knight draft pick. So that's London has their score and spread out, which I think is their only strength. And to Stratford's point, you guys brought Ferguson in and you touched on it. It'd be nice to get him scoring again because he was their top scorer before coming over here. And I personally think the Marshall, Murphy, Galbraith line, that's the line that's going to be key for Stratford because every game I've been to, they've been lights out. They hit you, they punish you, and they can skate. Like Marshall had, a couple breakaways there on Friday night. And I just think if Stratford can get at least 3 lines scoring consistently, I think they could have a deep playoff run here.
Yeah, that's what I think is, a good point to our hockey club is the depth that we have. And, we haven't scored to Hawlzer's points there. We haven't scored as much as we wanted to score this year. But we had a really good season. And to be sitting 4th in the Western Conference, we're real happy with that. But in the playoffs, a lot of times the top guys even each other out, and it's the middle 6 or bottom 6 guys that win playoff series that do the dirty work. And, I think we really have a group of guys that continuously go over the boards, and we haven't had it in Stratford in many years where the coaching staff continues to throw all 4 lines over the boards as consistently as they do this year. So, I'm looking forward to it. It is going to be quite the battle. It's quite the challenge. We've struggled with them all year during the regular season, but none of that really matters once we get going here Friday night. What matters is the next 2 weeks.
One of the big things that surprises me is how London retooled on the fly. Like normally when you fire your head coach and you let go most of your top scorers, the team ends up heading towards the basement. That didn't really happen though with London. So I got to tip my cap to head coach GM Kelly Corpse for being able to keep it all together even after a lot of guys abandoned ship. And I was looking at their top 5 scorers. 4 of them are rookies other than Pomerleau. The other 4, Campo, Muse, Wood, and McCaslin, are all rookies. And that's just a testament to them going and bringing in personnel that can just jump right into their system. And Schencker, you had mentioned there about how their power plays, they spread it out pretty well. You had mentioned Wood there has 17 power play assists, but you've got Pomerleau and Muse as kind of their go-through guys. They're both tied with 7 goals on the power play. As for goaltending, Dante Bertolin, he only had an .898 save percentage, but boys, don't be fooled. We saw how he played over at the PRC there last month. He almost brought the Nationals a big W there. He had a really good game against the Lincolns. And Bender, he's got a .905 save percentage this year. And like I said, he's just been on an absolute heater to finish off the season. And it's so nice to see it this time. But we'll start with you, Schencker. Who are you picking in this series and how many games?
Gonna take the Cullies in 6.
All right. Going old school name in
Old
6.
school.
I like it. I
Got to
like
play
it.
old school to win.
Hawlzer, who are you taking?
Well, like I said, I have a lot of respect for this team, and I would love to be proven wrong, but I think this is just not a good matchup for Stratford. I'm taking London, and I'm taking them in 6 games.
In 6, all right. Boys are going to put that bulletin board material.
So be it. If it motivates them, so be it.
Yeah, perfect. We'll take that.
All right, Clarke.
Razer, just before I give you my prediction,
Okay.
I would say to your point when you talked about London there, I think that just goes to show about the retool and how they stuck with it. I think that's a credit to the players that are there and to the players that are in this league. I mean, we've talked about this league all year long, and there are some fantastic hockey players in this league, up and down each and every lineup. So, I really think the league has got this right, and they've got momentum, and there's some really, really good hockey players coming through our league and playing for our teams. And we've seen it all 8 or 9 teams that were battling for playoff spots here in the Western Conference were really good down the stretch. So just a shout out to all the players that laid it on the ice this year. And my pick, I'm going to take us, Stratford in 7 and a full Almond Game 7 win
Nice.
for round 1.
Nice. And to your point, Clarke, all the stuff that I've been hearing at the rinks has been nothing but positive. And then you look at guys like Broda and other players coming back from the OJ to play in the Go. So that's a good sign too, because with you guys being affiliated with the OHL now, you're the official OHL development league. Like that's only going to help you guys going forward. And so hats off to you guys and the people running the show and head office at the Go, because it's obviously become talked about that you guys are the place to be in order to make the next step. So that's awesome. That's great to hear. My pick, you know what I'm going to say. I've got their jersey on. I played for them. I love them to the bone. I'm going to take Stratford in 6 games because I just think they're going to frustrate the hell out of the Nationals. They're used to wheeling out there, and I think that's where experience is going to come in. Ferguson, Schmidt, Kipfer, Slattery, all the guys that are battle tested. That's where I think that you guys are going to have the edge over London with them and all their high scoring rookies. So mark that down. Stratford in 6. If it goes 7, then so be it. But I think they're going to be able to do it in 6. So good stuff.
Should be a great series.
Yeah. Looking forward. So now that the schedule's out, we can say starts Friday in Stratford, Saturday in London, Monday in Stratford, Wednesday in London. And then if more games are necessary, then the following Friday in Stratford, Sunday, London, and then Wednesday back in Stratford for game 7. So the schedule is out, folks. Make sure you get your tickets. We've even got Mr. Dog with his hot dog stand out front of the Allman Arena for those that have been on our socials advertising game 1. So
why is it snowing at the Willie was the only thing I wondered. Is it colder down by the river than it is in St. Paul's? Because
they just want to make sure they got good ice, so they had a snow machine out front there.
All effects, just for the effect.
Exactly. All right, Clarke. Appreciate you coming on. Jason
Thanks,
Clarke,
boys.
Director of Hockey Operations. We look forward to seeing you Friday night for game 1 at the Allman, buddy.
You bet.
All right. We'll hear from our sponsors, and then we'll have final thoughts.
Buzzin' with Clarko, a weekly roundup of the Stratford Warriors with Jason Clarke. Brought to you by Nick Hishin of Indy Mortgage, the independent mortgage company serving customers from coast to coast with access to well over 50 lending options available. Give Nick a call as he works for you, not the banks. FISRA license number 12403.